So let's see what Trudeau had to say when he was calling out Pierre Poilievre for making the uber reasonable suggestion that, you know what we need at Roxham Road? Not Royal Canadian Mounted Police acting as bellhops, but a wall.
That Roxham Road can be closed without renegotiating the Safe Third Country Agreement. Is that the case? Can it just be closed without that discussion with the United States?
Could somebody put up barricades and a big wall? Yes, if Pierre Poilievre wants to build a wall at Roxham Road, someone could do that. The problem is we have 6,000 kilometers worth of undefended shared border with the United States. And as we saw with tragedies at Emerson, as we've seen in challenges elsewhere across the country, people will choose to cross elsewhere. The only way to effectively shut down not just Roxham Road, but the entire border to these irregular crossings is to renegotiate the Safe Third Country Agreement, which is serious work that we are doing as a government right now. So people can, toss out simplistic solutions. That's their right. But if someone wants to seriously solve the problem, you're going to have to roll up your sleeves and do the work as we are.
Oh, Sheila, pardon me?
Do what work? Like, what work is he doing on this issue? He sent a tweet in 2017 wherein you can trace directly to the surge in migrants at the border. Like, you can literally plot it on a graph. It's this many are coming, and then the tweet comes, and then on the graph, it goes straight up. It's directly attributed to him. What work is he doing on this? And what does he need to renegotiate? He doesn't need to renegotiate anything. He just needs to enforce the laws that are there. The Safe Third Country Agreement says that if you are filing for asylum, you have to do it in the first safe country that you get to. That's the United States. If you are coming from Honduras and you end up in the United States, that's where you're supposed to claim asylum. You're not supposed to country shop, which is what's happening here. And you're not supposed to pass through. And so they're supposed to be turned away at the border. And you're not allowed to make an asylum claim at an irregular border crossing. You have to do it at a conventional, old-fashioned, legal point of entry. They're not doing that. Please just turn them away. And by the way, Justin Trudeau says walls don't work, but I'm reliably informed that he thinks they do because he put up a hell of a lot of fences and walls around the nation's capital to keep regular old law-abiding Canadians out. And these are people who are citizens of their own country. They couldn't go into their own capital because Justin Trudeau used fences and walls and barricades. So he knows they work. He just doesn't want to use them to prevent lawbreakers from getting into the country.
And also, Sheila, let's look at the timeline. As I said, this was a direct poke in the eye at then President Donald Trump when Trudeau put out that tweet, hashtag welcome to Canada. But there's been regime change south of the border. It's been Biden in office since after the 2020 election, because the narrative was migrants in America were at risk under mean orange man. He might do something. But that boogeyman is now gone. It's gone, a couple of years gone now. So that doesn't exist. I want to also talk about the Safe Third Country Agreement, Sheila. Who in blue hell drafted that? The idea that you would have a loophole the size of the galaxy, which says, as long as you don't go to a regular border crossing, like say the Peace Bridge or what have you, as long as you go somewhere else in, what is our border in total length with the U.S.? I think it's something like 6,000 kilometers.
Right.
Yeah, if you go in there, then the rules change. Why was that a stipulation in the first part, Sheila? It looks like the drafters of this agreement wanted it to fail.
Well, and look at Justin Trudeau's excuse. Well, since there's 6,000 kilometers, we can't do anything about this one point of entry where all the crossings are happening because there are two parallel roads that run adjacent to each other. And what's happening is they're coming up from the United States, getting off, walking through the ditch, and then hitting the other side. There's nothing we can do because there are 6,000 other kilometers of undefended border. That's insane. That's the dumbest excuse that I think Justin Trudeau could have come up with for failing to deal with this. And by the way, the death that happened at Emerson happened while Roxham Road was wide open. So closing it up is not going to prevent people from dying elsewhere. It just won't. What caused people to die in the cold in Emerson was Justin Trudeau's stupid tweet. That's what
right.
did it.
And also, yes, I'm not happy about anyone dying, especially in such a horrific way. But the fact is, you are breaking the law. That family knew they were breaking the law, which you should not do, especially if you're seeking citizenship in the country that's going to harbor you. And like you said, it's almost as though Justin Trudeau, Sheila, is an accomplice. He was encouraging this. And then after he encourages it, he goes, look at the tragedies, such as what happened in Emerson, Manitoba. No. You goaded people on to come here. You've got blood on your hands, Mr. Prime Minister, for that family that perished. And Sheila, this safe third country agreement, they've been talking for years now. Now, I know the bureaucracy moves at a speed of molasses going uphill in wintertime. But Sheila, until, clearly it's going to continue to be negotiated on for years. And I don't think there's any willingness in the United States to change it, by the way. They're happy, it would seem, to offload their refugee problem. Mayor Adams in New York even buying bus tickets for these illegal aliens. So in the meantime, Mr. Trudeau, why don't we erect a wall until we get this hammered out? And he met with the Carpenters Union in Tuesday. Lincoln Jay and I went out to Vaughan to cover that. And it's a blue-collar event, Sheila, because the first thing Trudeau does when he jumps out of his SUV, a full-size Chevy Suburban, which had the engine running for all 90 minutes. Because God forbid blackface gets into a vehicle that's less than room temperature. But it's a blue-collar event because he takes off his jacket, he loosens his tie, and he puts his shirt sleeves up. I'm down with the blue-collar brothers and sisters.
Costume.
Yeah. You know what, Justin? That was your chance to do a huge make work project, unlike building some bridge to nowhere. Get those carpenters into their trucks and vans, get them to the border, and start building that wall. That would be a project I would endorse, Sheila.
Yeah. You know what? We don't even have to do that. Who are those people that they called to put up that ready-made fence in Ottawa? Find that company.
Yes.
Call them. Tell them put one up at Roxham Road. And, there's some irony in all of this that Mayor Adams in New York, he's a sanctuary city.
Yeah.
But when the migrants come, he buses them back out the other side. And I'm old enough to remember him complaining that what Greg Abbott was doing in Texas, buying bus tickets and sending them to New York, he said that was cruel. You're being cruel to the migrants, sending them up here. But then Eric Adams is like, oh, you want to go to Canada? Can I send you to Canada? Here's a ticket. Get out of here. So Adams is that's what he wanted. Now, someone is making him try to live up to his progressive morals, and he just can't do it. But also, neither is Montreal. Montreal, I think, is a sanctuary city also. And they're being inundated by migrants, and they're shipping them to Cornwall, Ontario, who I don't think they are a sanctuary city. But this is, the sanctuary city mayors, they love migrants until the migrants come. And then they're just like, ooh, icky, gross. No, don't like them.
Yeah. And it's funny, Sheila, isn't it? Thanks to our beloved colleagues, Alexa and Guillaume, we know precisely what the fee is for a Greyhound bus ticket from New York City to Plattsburgh. It's $66. We know that because once the illegal aliens got into Canada, suddenly they don't need their bus ticket, and they just, they litter. And I know it's a little thing, but it's a big thing too. You're illegally getting into our country, And then the first thing you do is break another law. You litter. You can't keep that bus ticket in your pocket. You just throw your trash on the ground as though Roxham Road is a waste disposal facility. And that's how we knew how much they were paying, and that we knew they were coming from New York City to Plattsburgh. And I know also there is a cottage industry in Plattsburgh, consultants, taxis, you name it.
The taxis say, David, the taxis say Roxham Road on the side. Yeah. So if you get off the airport, get off the plane at the airport, or get off the bus at the bus station, you just look for the taxi that says Roxham Road, and it takes you to Roxham Road. And if this were happening on the southern border of the United States, these people would be called coyotes. They're
100%, Sheila. And this is a laughing stock.
Yeah.
And by the way, you see, this is the end of Roxham Road on the Canadian side. There's that temporary, probably now full-time RCMP detachment there. And it's funny, the last time I went there to do reporting, as you can see, you're pretty much in the middle of nowhere. When I pulled over my car, I was sternly informed by the RCMP that I was in a no stopping zone, which meant I had to, and I'm not complaining about this, I had to drive about 2 kilometers away, find legal parking, and then walk back with my equipment. But I mean, like, how selective is the law enforcement? You've got illegal aliens coming in, 39,000 last year alone. And this Dudley Do-Right is concerned about my car on an abandoned road, pretty much. The only traffic you see are the periodic buses that come to pick up the migrants and put them in a hotel where they get 3 squares a day. Unbelievable.
Well, and let's go back to Justin Trudeau for a second, because it just occurred to me. Justin Trudeau did not say, like, hey, Joe Biden, you got to do something about the migrants crossing the southern border because they're ending up in Canada and they're putting undue strain on our system here. They're driving up the cost of housing, and they're displacing our homeless people in our homeless shelters. He doesn't say that. He doesn't say anything to Eric Adams saying, hey, can you quit buying $60 bus tickets for migrants you invited to your city by virtue of being a sanctuary city? He doesn't say that. He directs his ire at Pierre Poilievre, who is saying, we are enabling a crime here of human trafficking by not dealing with this one single border crossing, where the majority of these border crossings happen, where I think it's like 82% of people who cross there end up in accommodations, which is Canadian taxpayer funded hotels, which is a burden on the Canadian taxpayer who've done nothing wrong here. That's who Justin Trudeau directs his ire to, at Pierre Poilievre, who's offering a solution on behalf of Canadians, and not the people who, along with Justin Trudeau, continue to cause this problem to balloon.
You're so right, Sheila. And also the comparison to Donald Trump. And I'm thinking, and the downside is, I mean,
are you threatening me with a good time?
You're a president in his term, inflation was not a thing, energy independence, record unemployment levels, interest rates far lower. The world was a far safer place. I want a Donald Trump. My dearest wish would be to Pierre Poilievre to be Canada's version of Donald Trump. So I can't understand that being a complaint. You know what it reminds me of, Sheila? I know you're a big SCTV fan. You remember the Christmas special, Count Floyd's Have Yourself a Scary Little Christmas? And at one point, Catherine O'Hara, playing Lucille Ball, starts crying. And Count Floyd says, Lucy, what's wrong? And she goes, the boy from Deliverance scared me. And Count Floyd is going, that's good, because his ongoing narrative is trying to book scary movies that are complete duds. They all stink, right? So I'm thinking, calling Poilievre Canada's Trump, I'm down with that, Mr. Prime Minister.
Yeah. Like peace broke out in the Middle East while Trump was in charge. We're talking about it like it's a bad thing. That's a clip from something we call Rebel News Daily. It's our daily live stream hosted by my friend David Menzies, but the show also includes a rotating cast of hosts and special guests, including me. It's a great way for us to talk about the news of the day as the news is happening in an unscripted fashion, and it's an awesome way for you to interact with us as well. We stream every weekday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Mountain, wherever you find Rebel News. See you there.